Hello, and welcome to Dream Science. Here, we explore the universe's most beautifully baffling corners, not with shouts, but with a gentle, unhurried curiosity. Tonight's episode, Everyday Truths Your Brain Refuses to Accept. Have you ever considered that the now you inhabit is a mirage, or that your own thoughts aren't always yours? We'll drift through these gentle riddles together, allowing our minds to softly unravel the world. Wherever you are, you're exactly where you need to be. If this quiet exploration resonates, consider subscribing. It helps other quiet minds find their way here. Now, take a soft breath, let your shoulders fall, and prepare to drift gently into the surprising truths that await you. You wake up. The sunlight, a warm, buttery stain on your bedroom wall, signals the start of another day. You stretch, a delicious unraveling of muscles, and the scent of freshly brewed coffee drifts from the kitchen. This moment, this feeling of now, is so utterly undeniable. It's a seamless progression, a single, flowing river of time moving steadily from past to future. You live within this river, you navigate its currents, you make plans for what lies ahead, and you recall what has already transpired. It's simple, intuitive, and the very bedrock of your existence. You feel utterly present, grounded in this very instant. But what if now isn't what you think it is? What if that single, flowing river is nothing more than a powerful, convincing mirage? We've been told, since childhood, that time marches forward, a linear progression. We mark its passage with clocks and calendars, with birthdays and anniversaries. The past is gone, the future is yet to come, and you, dear reader, are suspended in the fleeting, razor-thin present. This common assumption, so deeply ingrained, allows us to plan, to remember, to perceive cause and effect. It makes sense, doesn't it? It feels real. Here's the unsettling truth. Your brain invents now every single millisecond. The universe, in its raw, unfiltered state, doesn't have a present moment, a universal now that applies to everyone, everywhere. Einstein's theory of relativity shattered this notion. Imagine two spaceships, one rocketing past Earth at incredible speed, another floating gently in orbit. For the crew on the speeding ship, time literally slows down relative to those on Earth. A minute for them might be 61 seconds for you. A second on Earth isn't the same length as a second on the speeding ship. There is no shared, universal clock ticking away for everyone. It's like trying to synchronize 1,000 different watches, each set to a slightly different, personal rhythm, and then insisting they all show the exact same now. It's impossible because the very fabric of space and time is woven differently for each observer, depending on their motion and gravitational field. This means that the now you experience is entirely subjective, a local phenomenon. Your brain is a masterful editor, constantly stitching together fragmented sensory inputs, the light hitting your eyes, the sound waves vibrating your eardrums, the pressure on your skin all arriving at slightly different times. It takes these disparate signals, some of which are already in the past by the time they reach your brain, and creates the illusion of a unified, instantaneous present. It's like a conductor trying to make an orchestra of musicians, all playing at slightly different speeds and with different delays, sound perfectly synchronized. Your brain performs this astonishing feat seamlessly, without you ever noticing the milliseconds of lag or the subjective distortions. So, if there's no universal now, what does that mean for your sense of self, your very existence? Are you truly living in the present, or are you perpetually existing in a skillfully rendered, constantly updated simulation of it? What does it say about free will if the moment of decision might not be a single, definitive now, but a blur across different frames of reference? Does your memory, which feels so solid and real, actually represent a fixed past? Or is it merely your brain's current best interpretation of events that occurred in a now that no longer exists for anyone else? We cling to the idea of a shared present, a common ground where we all meet. But what if that ground is constantly shifting, unique to each individual's journey through the cosmos? This isn't just a dizzying thought experiment. It's an invitation to liberation. If now is a construct, then you have a profound opportunity to shape it. The anxiety about living in the moment takes on a new dimension. Perhaps true presence isn't about grasping a fleeting, objective point in time, but about consciously engaging with the rich, subjective tapestry your brain is weaving for you. You are not a passive recipient of a predetermined present. You are an active participant in its ongoing creation. You are the architect of your own perceived timeline, constantly rendering your reality. So, the next time you feel the undeniable pull of now, pause. Recognize the incredible computational feat your brain is performing. Understand that this moment, as real as it feels, is a unique, personal masterpiece. How will you choose to experience the now that is constantly being born anew within you? You just discovered that your now is a custom-made, continuously updated illusion, a masterful trick of your own brain. This revelation might feel disorienting, like the floor beneath you has suddenly tilted. If now isn't real, what about the continuity of your thoughts, your consciousness? You experience a seamless stream of awareness, one thought flowing effortlessly into the next, one sensory input blending perfectly with the last. You close your eyes and recall yesterday's laughter, the taste of breakfast, the soft murmur of rain. It feels like you are a continuous entity, a singular you, experiencing a linear journey through time. You are the protagonist of your own story, moving from one distinct moment to the next. But here's the next unsettling truth. You aren't experiencing reality as it happens. You are, in fact, always a fraction of a second in the past. Your brain isn't a live stream camera. It's more like a highly sophisticated, lightning-fast video editor, constantly assembling and replaying snippets of recent events, presenting them to you as if they are happening right now. Think of a tennis player hitting a ball. You see the racket connect, hear the thwack, and then register the ball flying. You assume these events are simultaneous. In reality, the visual information, auditory information, and tactile sensation all travel at different speeds and arrive at your brain at slightly different intervals. Light travels faster than sound, and nerve impulses from your hand take time to reach your brain. Your brain, with incredible efficiency, doesn't just present these signals as they arrive. It waits for all the relevant pieces, processes them, and then presents a unified, coherent picture to your consciousness. It harmonizes the data, essentially creating a delayed, polished version of reality for you. Imagine you're watching a perfectly choreographed dance, but all the dancers are slightly out of sync. Some move a millisecond too soon, others a millisecond too late. Your brain is the director who meticulously adjusts every dancer's timing, speeding some up, slowing others down, until the performance appears flawless and perfectly synchronized. It's a tiny, imperceptible delay, but it means that the present you perceive is always, technically, the immediate past. Your brain is always playing catch-up, always presenting you with a slightly edited, time-corrected version of what just happened. This is why, for example, A professional athlete often seems to have superhuman reflexes. Their brain is simply faster at this editing process, minimizing the delay between event and perception. What does this profound delay mean for your sense of immediate action, for your feeling of being truly in the moment? If you're always a beat behind, are you ever truly spontaneous? Does your perception of cause and effect, where one action immediately leads to a reaction, hold true if there's always a tiny, built-in latency? Consider the profound implications for consciousness itself. If your conscious experience is always a synthesized reconstruction of past events, however recent, then the you that is aware is never truly inhabiting the raw, unedited present. You are always, in a sense, an echo in your own mind, perceiving a reality that has already passed, albeit by the most minuscule of margins. Doesn't this make your sense of immediate interaction with the world a more complex, almost indirect process? This understanding that your now is an echo of the immediate past is not meant to diminish your experience. Instead, it deepens your appreciation for the astonishing capabilities of your own mind. It highlights the brain as an active constructor of reality, not just a passive receiver. You are not simply observing the world. Your brain is constantly, intricately, and flawlessly manufacturing the illusion of a seamless present for you. This truth empowers you, revealing the incredible artistry behind your everyday perception. You are living within a masterpiece of neurological engineering, a continuously unfolding story created just for you, So, the next time you feel an immediate sensation, a sudden sound, or a flash of light, take a moment to marvel. Recognize that what you are experiencing is not the raw input, but your brain's perfected rendition, a brief echo from the world that just was. How will this awareness transform your perception of your own reactions, your very sense of being present? You've grappled with the idea that now is a subjective construct, a personal movie playing out in your mind, always a fraction of a second behind reality. This might make you feel a little untethered, as if your grip on the present is slipping. But what about the past? Your memories feel so concrete, so tangible. You vividly recall your first day of school, a cherished family holiday, or a painful breakup. These memories aren't just snapshots. They're rich, multi-sensory experiences filled with sounds, smells, emotions. We rely on them to define who we are, to understand our history, to navigate our relationships. You are, in essence, the sum of your memories. Yet, here's another unsettling truth. Your memories aren't stored like perfect, unalterable video recordings. They are, instead, constantly being reconstructed every single time you access them. Think of it not as pulling a file from a stable archive, but as actively redrawing a picture from a faded blueprint, filling in the colors and details based on your current understanding, your present mood, and even new information you've acquired since the original event. Each retrieval is a fresh act of creation, and each creation leaves the memory slightly altered, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. Imagine you have a cherished old photograph. Every time you pull it out, you accidentally smudge it a little, or maybe you absent-mindedly doodle on the edges, or perhaps you even tear a tiny corner. Over time, that original photograph becomes something subtly different, bearing the marks of all its past viewings. Your memories are like that, but far more dynamic. When you recall a conversation, your brain doesn't just retrieve the exact words spoken, it reconstructs the scene, the emotions, the tone, drawing on vast networks of associated information. And in this reconstruction, biases creep in. New experiences can subtly overwrite old ones. Even the act of telling a story about a memory can alter it, solidifying details that were fuzzy, or adding elements that weren't originally there, all without your conscious awareness. This is why eyewitness testimonies, despite feeling incredibly reliable to the person giving them, can often be inaccurate or susceptible to suggestion. Your past, the very foundation of your identity, is a fluid narrative, constantly being edited by your present self. What does this mean for your personal history, for your very identity? If your memories are not fixed, immutable records, but dynamic, ever-changing narratives, then are you truly remembering the past, or are you creating a version of it that best suits your current self? Does this challenge the concept of a fixed, consistent you over time? If your past can be subtly reshaped with each recall, then how much of your personal story is truly fact, and how much is a masterful, self-serving fiction crafted by your own brain? Doesn't this make the notion of objective truth about your own life profoundly complex, almost elusive? This understanding, however unsettling, also offers a profound sense of liberation. If your memories are not rigidly fixed, then you possess an incredible, inherent power to reframe your past. You can choose to focus on different aspects of experiences, to learn new lessons from old wounds, to reinterpret events in a way that serves your growth. It's not about fabricating falsehoods, but about consciously engaging with the dynamic nature of your own narrative. You are not trapped by a static, unchangeable past. You are the continuous author of your own story, capable of revising and refining it with each passing moment. This reveals an astonishing resilience, a built-in capacity for healing and transformation. So, the next time a memory floods your mind, don't just accept it as absolute truth. Pause. Consider the subtle ways it might have shifted, the new perspectives it might now hold. How will you choose to engage with the fluid landscape of your own history, and in doing so, shape the you that is constantly emerging? You've explored the shifting sands of now and the fluid nature of memory, perhaps feeling a gentle tremor in your understanding of reality. This might lead you to cling even more tightly to the idea of your own free will, your ability to make conscious choices, to be the captain of your own ship. You feel an undeniable sense of agency when you decide what to wear, what to eat, or which path to take. Every decision, big or small, feels like a deliberate act, a conscious selection from a myriad of possibilities, a testament to your autonomy. This conviction in your self-determination is a cornerstone of your identity, a fundamental truth you live by. But here's the next unsettling truth, one that whispers from the depths of your own skull. A significant portion of your decisions are made before you even become consciously aware of them. Your brain is a silent architect, often laying the groundwork and even finalizing blueprints for your choices seconds or even minutes before you decide. This isn't some abstract philosophical debate. It's a phenomenon observed in neuroscience labs, in experiments. Researchers can predict your choices, like whether you'll press a left or right button, based on brain activity that occurs well before you report making a conscious decision. It's as if your brain sends out an internal memo, gets everything ready, and then informs your conscious mind about the choice it has already prepared. Imagine you're at a restaurant, looking at a menu. You feel like you're consciously weighing options, deliberating between the pasta and the steak, but beneath the surface, your brain is already working, processing a multitude of unconscious factors: your current hunger levels, your past experiences with both dishes, even subtle cues from your environment. Long before the thought "I'll have" the steak forms in your conscious mind, the neural machinery might have already settled on the steak. Your conscious awareness then simply reports this decision back to you, making it feel like you just made it. It's akin to a sophisticated autopilot system that flies the plane and only then sends a report to the pilot, who then confidently declares, "I decided to land." What does this profound insight mean for your cherished notion of free will? If your choices are being orchestrated by unconscious processes, by the intricate dance of neurons and chemicals beneath the surface of your awareness, then are you truly the one making the call? Does this diminish your sense of responsibility or your capacity for genuine self-improvement? If the you that consciously chooses is merely a reporter of decisions already made, then how much control do you truly exert over your own life's trajectory? Doesn't this make the very idea of deliberate action, of intentional change, feel deeply paradoxical? This isn't to say that free will is entirely an illusion, but rather that its nature is far more complex and nuanced than we intuitively believe. Instead of being a purely conscious, top-down process, it's a dynamic interplay between conscious reflection and vast, intricate, unconscious computations. Understanding this allows for a new kind of empowerment. If your unconscious mind is so powerful, then cultivating good habits, shaping your environment, and intentionally exposing yourself to positive influences become even more crucial. You might not consciously choose every single micro decision, but you can consciously choose to sculpt the underlying landscape of your mind, thereby influencing the automatic choices your brain makes for you. You are the gardener of your neural garden, shaping the conditions under which your choices bloom. So, the next time you make a decision, whether trivial or monumental, pause. Consider the silent, intricate workings of your own brain, the unconscious architects who have already been busy at work. How will this awareness transform your understanding of personal responsibility? And how will you choose to influence the unseen forces that guide your path? You've confronted the silent architects of your choices and the fleeting nature of now, perhaps sensing a loosening of your control over the present. This might make you feel a stronger connection to your sense of self, that continuous identity that transcends individual moments and decisions. You believe in a core you, a consistent personality with stable traits and beliefs that define who you are across time. We hold on to the idea that the person who woke up this morning is fundamentally the same person who went to sleep last night, the same person who walked across a graduation stage years ago, and the same person who will someday look back on this very moment. This continuity of self feels like the anchor in a sea of changing perceptions. But here's the unsettling truth. Yourself is not a fixed, unchanging entity, but a constantly evolving narrative. The person you were a decade ago, a year ago, or even yesterday is not the same person you are today. And the person you are today will not be the same person tomorrow. This isn't just about growing older or gaining new experiences. It's a profound shift at the neurological and psychological levels. Your brain is a dynamic, plastic organ, constantly rewiring itself based on every new input, every new thought, every new interaction. Your beliefs, your values, your memories, all, the components that make up yourself, are in a state of perpetual flux, subtly and sometimes not so subtly adjusting with each passing moment. Imagine a river. You might say it's the same river today as it was yesterday, but every drop of water in it has been replaced. The river maintains its form, its flow, its name, but its constituent parts are constantly new. Yourself is much like that river. The neural pathways that define your habits and thoughts are continually being strengthened, weakened, or rerouted. New memories form, old ones fade, or are reinterpreted. Your emotional landscape shifts. The you that remembers a past event is not the same you who experienced it. The very act of remembering changes both the memory and the rememberer. This means that the person who made that promise 5 years ago, or harbored that deep-seated fear, or held that unwavering conviction, is, in a very real sense, a different entity from the you inhabiting this present moment. What does this fluid nature of identity mean for your personal growth, for accountability, or for the very concept of personal responsibility? If you are not the same self from moment to moment, how can you truly hold yourself accountable for past actions or genuinely commit to future goals? Does this erode the foundation of personal narrative, leaving you adrift without a stable sense of who you are? If the you of yesterday is essentially a different person, does that mean your relationships are always with evolving, never fixed beings? Doesn't this make the notion of a consistent character, or even a soul, incredibly complex and elusive? This understanding, rather than dismantling your sense of self, offers an incredible opportunity for liberation and conscious evolution. If you are not permanently tethered to past versions of yourself, then you are not condemned by past mistakes, nor are you limited by past failures. You have an inherent capacity for reinvention, for continuous growth, for becoming a better, more aligned version of yourself in every new now. You are the sculptor of your own identity, continually shaping who you are with each decision, each experience, each new piece of knowledge. This reveals an astonishing potential for change, for shedding old skins and embracing new possibilities. So, the next time you reflect on who you are, or on who you once were, pause, recognize that the you observing that past self is already a new iteration, a subtly different being shaped by every moment that has transpired since. How will this awareness transform your approach to self-improvement, and how will you consciously guide the continuous evolution of your own incredible self? You've begun to understand that your now is a subjective echo, your memories are fluid narratives, and yourself is a constantly evolving story. This might leave you feeling a little unmoored, as if the very foundations of your personal reality are less solid than you imagined. Yet, you still trust your senses implicitly. You see a vibrant red apple, hear the distinct chirping of birds, feel the cool breeze on your skin. What you perceive, you believe, is truly out there. An objective reality entering your mind directly through your eyes, ears, and touch. Your senses are your windows to the world, offering an unfiltered, accurate representation of what exists. But here's the unsettling truth. You don't actually perceive the world as it is. What you experience as reality is an intricate, highly curated simulation constructed by your brain. Your sensory organs don't transmit objective data. They transmit raw, often incomplete signals. Your brain then takes these fragmented inputs and, based on a lifetime of experience, expectations, and subconscious assumptions, fills in the gaps and interprets them to create the rich, seamless reality you believe you are experiencing. It's like your brain is a brilliant but biased artist, taking rough sketches from your senses and painting a vibrant, detailed masterpiece that it then presents to your consciousness. Imagine a sophisticated virtual reality headset. It doesn't actually transport you to another world. It feeds your senses highly convincing data that your brain interprets as a new environment. your everyday reality is much the same. When light hits your retina, it's just electromagnetic radiation. Your brain, through a complex process, creates the sensation of red from specific wavelengths. Red isn't in the apple. Red is a neurological construct in your mind. Similarly, the chirping of birds is just air pressure waves, but your brain transforms it into the subjective experience of sound. This is why optical illusions work so powerfully. They exploit the brain's shortcuts and assumptions, revealing how actively it builds your perception rather than passively receives it. Even more profoundly, your brain can see things that aren't there or fill in missing information. Much like a phantom limb can still feel pain or sensation even after amputation, your brain expects the limb to be there, and so it generates the sensation. What does this profound disconnect between raw sensory input and perceived reality mean for your understanding of the external world? If your reality is a simulation, how can you ever truly know what is out there beyond the confines of your skull? Does this imply that everyone lives in their own unique, personal reality simulation, subtly different from everyone else's? Doesn't this make the very idea of objective truth, of a shared reality, incredibly challenging to grasp? If your senses are merely providing raw materials for your brain's artistic interpretations, then how much of what you perceive is truly external, and how much is an internal projection? This understanding, though initially disquieting, offers a powerful sense of agency and creativity. If your reality is a construction, then you have more influence over it than you might think. By changing your focus, your beliefs, and your interpretations, you can literally begin to resculpt your perceived world. It highlights the incredible power of your mind to create meaning and experience from the chaos of raw data. You are not a passive observer of a fixed world. You are an active, moment-by-moment, co-creator of your experienced reality. This reveals an astonishing capacity for transforming your subjective experience, for finding new meaning in the familiar, and for living a more vibrant, engaged life. So, the next time you look at the world, don't just see it. Feel the incredible, unseen effort your brain is making to present it to you. Recognize that every color, every sound, every texture is a masterpiece rendered internally. How will this awareness transform your understanding of seeing is believing, and how will you consciously engage with the incredible, ongoing creation of your own personal reality? You've come to terms with the brain as a masterful illusionist, crafting your now, rewriting your memories, and painting your perceived reality. This journey inward, while profound, has focused on the subjective world within your skull. You might feel a growing appreciation for the mind's power, yet still believe in the solid, tangible reality of the physical world around you. You see a table, you know it's solid. You pick up a pen, you feel its weight. The chair you're sitting on supports you unyieldingly. This physical world, independent of your perceptions, feels like the ultimate anchor, a universal, objective truth. But here's the unsettling truth. The vast majority of the universe, and even the solid objects around you, are composed of something utterly mysterious and fundamentally undetectable. We call it dark matter and dark energy. What you can see, touch, and measure, the stars, galaxies, planets, and everything on Earth, including your own body, makes up only about 5% of the total mass energy of the universe. The remaining 95% is a profound enigma. Approximately 27% is dark matter, an invisible substance that doesn't interact with light or other electromagnetic forces, but whose gravitational pull we can observe. The remaining 68% is dark energy, an even stranger force that seems to be driving the accelerated expansion of the universe. Imagine walking into a room that appears to be empty. You can see the walls, the floor, the ceiling. But what if 95% of the room's actual contents were completely invisible to you, undetectable by any of your senses or instruments? What if there were massive, unseen currents flowing through it, and invisible structures exerting powerful, unexplainable forces? That is the cosmic reality you inhabit. Dark matter isn't just dark because it doesn't emit light. It's dark because it doesn't interact with light at all. You could pass right through it, and it could pass right through you without either of you ever knowing. Yet, it clumps together, forming immense gravitational halos that hold galaxies together. Acting as the invisible scaffolding of the cosmos, dark energy, even more baffling, is pushing everything apart, accelerating the very fabric of space. What does this profound invisibility mean for your understanding of reality, of existence itself? If the universe is overwhelmingly made of things you can never perceive, never interact with, never truly comprehend, how can you claim to have a complete picture of reality? Does this imply that our understanding of physics, based on the 5% we can detect, is fundamentally incomplete? Does it make your perceived world, with its solid objects and predictable forces, feel like a tiny, fragile island in an ocean of the unknown? Doesn't this make the very concept of what is real far more vast and mysterious than you ever imagined? This understanding, rather than diminishing reality, expands it to an almost incomprehensible degree. It humbles us, reminding us how much remains undiscovered, how much more there is to learn. It transforms your view of the empty space around you into something rich with unseen forces and substances. You are not just living on a planet in a solar system. You are existing within a colossal, mostly invisible cosmic architecture. This reveals the immense wonder and complexity of the universe, urging us to embrace curiosity and to question the limits of our perception. So, the next time you look up at the night sky, or simply feel the weight of a solid object in your hand, pause. Consider the overwhelming presence of the unseen, the silent giants that shape galaxies and accelerate the universe. How will this awareness transform your understanding of what truly constitutes reality? And how will you carry the profound sense of wonder that comes with dwelling in a universe mostly made of secrets? You've acknowledged the vast, unseen cosmic ocean that surrounds and permeates everything. A revelation that expands your sense of reality far beyond what your senses perceive. But let's zoom back in, returning to the familiar. You rely on your ears to navigate the world, to enjoy music, to understand spoken words. You believe that what you hear is an accurate representation of the sounds out there. Vibrations traveling through the air and directly entering your auditory system, the distinct melody of a song, the specific tone of a voice, the sudden crash of thunder. These all seem to be objective acoustic events, existing independently of you. But here's the unsettling truth. You don't actually hear with your ears alone. Your brain plays an extraordinary and often manipulative role in constructing what you perceive as sound. Your ears merely collect pressure waves. It's your brain that interprets these waves, fills in missing frequencies, suppresses unwanted noise, and even creates sounds that aren't physically present. Your auditory reality is an active, ongoing invention, constantly being shaped by your expectations, your attention, and your prior experiences. Imagine attending a concert in a crowded hall. The sheer cacophony of individual conversations, shuffling feet, and distant coughs should be overwhelming. Yet, you can somehow tune into the specific melody on stage or focus on a friend's voice amidst the chatter. This isn't just your ears filtering. It's your brain actively sculpting your auditory landscape. It can selectively amplify certain frequencies while dampening others, effectively creating a spotlight for the sounds it deems important. Even more mind-bending, consider the McGurk effect, where if you see someone saying "gar" but hear the sound "bar," your brain often perceives them saying "da." Your visual input overrides and fundamentally alters your auditory perception, demonstrating how your brain prioritizes and integrates sensory information to create a coherent, though not always accurate, reality. Your brain literally tells your ears what they should be hearing. What does this active construction of sound mean for your understanding of communication, of music, of the very auditory world you inhabit? If your brain is constantly editing and inventing sounds, how much of what you hear is truly out there, and how much is an internal fabrication? Does this imply that the same piece of music might sound subtly different to everyone, each brain creating its own unique sonic tapestry? Doesn't this make the notion of objective listening, of shared auditory experiences, far more intricate and subjective than you ever considered? This understanding, while initially disquieting, also offers a profound appreciation for the intricate artistry of your own mind. It highlights the brain's incredible capacity for creating order out of chaos, for crafting a meaningful auditory world from raw vibrations. You are not a passive receiver of sound waves. You are an active participant in their interpretation and construction. This reveals an astonishing adaptability, a built-in capacity to find meaning and patterns even in the most complex sonic environments. It empowers you to consciously direct your attention, to truly listen with more awareness, knowing that your brain is performing a continuous symphony of interpretation. So, the next time you listen to a favorite song or engage in a deep conversation, pause, consider the silent, masterful conductor within your skull, transforming raw vibrations into a rich, meaningful auditory experience. How will this awareness transform your understanding of hearing is believing, and how will you consciously engage with the incredible, ongoing creation of your own personal soundscape? You've explored the hidden complexities of your senses and the overwhelming mystery of the universe's invisible majority. Perhaps you feel a new sense of wonder, but also a lingering desire for something concrete, something truly foundational. You look around and see the solidity of the ground, the unyielding pull that keeps your feet firmly planted. Gravity, it feels like the most undeniable, fundamental force in the universe, an invisible rope pulling everything down, holding planets in orbit, and governing the falling of an apple. It's a force, a clear and present influence, something you intuitively understand. But here's the unsettling truth. Gravity isn't a force in the way you intuitively imagine it. It's not an invisible rope pulling you down, nor is it a mysterious push. Instead, it's a warping, a curvature in the very fabric of space and time itself, caused by the presence of mass and energy. This mind-bending concept, central to Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, redefines our understanding of the universe's most ubiquitous phenomenon. Imagine a bowling ball placed on a stretched rubber sheet. The bowling ball, representing a massive object like a planet or star, creates a dip or a curve in the sheet. Now, if you roll a marble representing a smaller object or even light across that sheet, it won't travel in a straight line. It will curve inward, drawn towards the dip created by the bowling ball. It's not being pulled by the bowling ball in the traditional sense of a force. It's simply following the shortest, easiest path along the curved surface of the sheet. In this analogy, the rubber sheet is space-time, and the bowling ball is mass, bending and distorting this cosmic fabric. What we perceive as gravity is simply objects following these curves. When you drop a ball, it falls not because Earth is pulling it, but because the Earth's mass has curved the space-time around it. And the ball is simply moving along that curvature. The force of gravity you feel keeping you on the ground is merely you following the natural contours of space-time bent by the Earth. What does this profound geometric understanding of gravity mean for your perception of the physical world, for the very ground beneath your feet? If space and time are not just passive backdrops, but dynamic, deformable entities, then how stable is the reality you inhabit? Does this imply that the universe is constantly stretching, bending, and undulating beneath your very existence? Doesn't this make the familiar pull of gravity a far more elegant, yet utterly alien, dance with the geometry of reality itself? This understanding, while initially challenging your intuitive grasp of fundamental physics, offers a breathtakingly beautiful and precise vision of the cosmos. It transforms your perception of empty space from a void into a dynamic, active participant in all motion and interaction. You are not just living in space-time. You are actively moving along its curves, a tiny, intricate part of a cosmic ballet, choreographed by mass and energy. This reveals an astonishing elegance in the universe's mechanics, a deeper, more fundamental truth hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you feel the undeniable pull of gravity, or watch something fall, pause, look beyond the familiar sensation and imagine the invisible, constantly changing curves in the fabric of space and time that are guiding every movement. How will this awareness transform your understanding of what keeps you grounded? And how will you consciously engage with the elegant, silent geometry that shapes your very existence? You've journeyed through the mind-bending realities of subjective time, fluid memory, an evolving self, a constructed perception, and even the geometric nature of gravity. Each revelation, perhaps, has chipped away at the solid, static world you once took for granted. Now, let's turn to a concept that challenges the very uniqueness of your existence. You believe you are an individual, one person, living one life, making one set of choices. Your experiences are yours alone, unfolding in a singular timeline. This conviction of your singular self within a singular universe is perhaps the most fundamental assumption we hold. But here's the unsettling truth, suggested by certain interpretations of quantum mechanics, particularly the many worlds interpretation, MWI. Every time a quantum event occurs, and these events are happening constantly. At every moment, everywhere, the universe splits into multiple, parallel universes, each representing a different possible outcome. In essence, for every decision you make, for every flick of a coin, for every quantum fluctuation, there's another universe where the opposite or another outcome occurred. This isn't just a hypothetical thought. It's a way to resolve the baffling behavior of particles at the quantum level, without requiring a collapse of possibilities. Imagine you are at a fork in the road. You choose to go left. In your reality, you experience the consequences of going left. But according to MWI, at the very moment of that decision, the universe branched. There is another universe where another you went right, and that you is living out the consequences of that choice. And for every subsequent choice that you makes, that universe branches again, creating even more parallel realities. This isn't just about big, life-altering decisions. It's happening at the subatomic level, constantly, creating an inconceivably vast and ever-expanding multiverse of parallel realities, each subtly or dramatically different. You aren't just one person living one life. You are, in a sense, a collection of countless yous, experiencing every conceivable permutation of your existence across an infinite, cosmic landscape. What does this mind-shattering idea mean for your individuality, your choices, your very existence? If every possible outcome of every quantum event is realized in some parallel universe, then are your choices truly significant? Does this diminish your sense of agency if another you is living out every alternative? Doesn't this make the concept of a unique experience, of a singular destiny, profoundly complicated, perhaps even illusory? If your consciousness is just one strand among an infinite number, what defines the you that you currently inhabit? This understanding, while potentially overwhelming, can also be profoundly liberating. If every possibility exists, then the weight of choice, while still important in this reality, takes on a different dimension. You are not defined by a single path, but by the sum of all the paths that exist for you across the multiverse. It can foster a radical acceptance of outcomes, knowing that somewhere another you is experiencing the alternative. It transforms your view of success and failure, life and death, into mere variations within an unimaginably vast tapestry of existence. You are not alone. You are part of an infinite symphony of possibilities. So, the next time you make a decision, big or small, or even just observe a random event, pause, consider the unseen ripples, the countless universes potentially branching off, carrying myriad versions of yourself into every conceivable future. How will this awareness transform your understanding of your own significance? And how will you consciously engage with the incredible, infinite echo of your own existence? You've ventured into the baffling realm of a universe that constantly splits, where countless versions of you exist across myriad timelines. This might make the individual you feel less unique, perhaps even a bit insignificant. In response, you might instinctively grasp for the one thing that still feels undeniably yours: your thoughts. You generate them, you control them, you choose what to think about. Your inner monologue, your decision-making process, of this feels utterly within your conscious command. This internal sanctuary of thought feels like the last bastion of personal agency, an inviolable space where you are the sole ruler. But here's the unsettling truth. You are not always the author of your own thoughts. Many of them simply arise in your mind, unbidden and often unexpected, a stream of consciousness over which you exert surprisingly little direct control. Think about it. A random song lyric pops into your head, an irrelevant memory flashes across your mind, a sudden worry grips you, or an idea for a solution to a problem appears seemingly out of nowhere. You didn't consciously decide to think these thoughts. They just happened. Your brain, a complex neural network, is constantly generating content, processing information, and creating associations, much of it beneath the threshold of your conscious awareness. Imagine your mind as a vast, bustling city. Your conscious awareness is like a single spotlight, illuminating only a tiny fraction of the activity happening at any given moment. Beneath that spotlight, countless conversations, transactions, and creative endeavors are taking place, independent of your direct oversight. When a thought enters your mind, it's often the result of this massive, unconscious machinery bubbling something up to the surface. You might then choose to engage with that thought, analyze it, or dismiss it, but the initial generation of the thought itself was often not a conscious act. This is the realm of intuition, of sudden insights, of anxieties that seem to come from nowhere. Your conscious mind is more of a receiver and editor of these thought products than their sole creator. What does this profound insight mean for your sense of self, your capacity for deliberate change, or even the very concept of thinking? If your thoughts are largely generated by processes you don't control, how much of your inner voice is truly your own, and how much is merely your brain's ongoing autonomous monologue? Does this challenge the idea of intentional focus or the power of positive thinking if the underlying generators of thought are running on their own? Doesn't this make the very act of deciding what to think a far more nuanced and less absolute power than you once believed? This understanding, rather than leading to helplessness, can be incredibly empowering. If you're not the sole, direct generator of every thought, it frees you from the burden of identifying with every fleeting notion that passes through your mind. You can observe your thoughts with a new kind of detachment, recognizing them as products of your complex brain, rather than absolute truths about yourself. This allows you to choose which thoughts to engage with, which to cultivate, and which to simply let pass by like clouds in the sky. You gain the power of conscious discernment over the vast unconscious output of your mind. You are the gardener, not of the seeds themselves, but of the fertile ground in which they grow, choosing which plants to nourish and which to weed out. So, the next time a thought unexpectedly surfaces in your mind, whether a brilliant idea or a nagging worry, pause. Don't immediately claim ownership or succumb to its dictates. Instead, observe it, acknowledge it, and then consciously decide whether to give it your attention. How will this awareness transform your relationship with your own mind, and how will you consciously choose to curate the landscape of your inner world? You've explored the surprisingly independent nature of your thoughts, finding a new kind of freedom in observing the mind's spontaneous creations rather than blindly owning them. This introspection might lead you to a deeper appreciation for your conscious awareness, that internal light that illuminates your experiences. You exist within a linear flow, one moment after another, a continuous thread of you moving through time. You trust that moments once lived are truly gone, relegated to the past, while the future is genuinely yet to come. This intuitive sense of temporal linearity forms the bedrock of planning, regret, and anticipation. But here's the unsettling truth. The linear progression of time, with its distinct past, present, and future, might be an emergent property of your consciousness, not a fundamental feature of the universe itself. Many prominent physicists suggest that, at the most fundamental level, the universe might be timeless, or that time as we experience it is an illusion, an artifact of how our brains process information and organize events. This concept, often called the block universe theory, posits that all moments past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Much like frames on a film strip, we simply perceive them sequentially as our consciousness moves through the strip. Imagine a finished movie reel. Every scene, every moment, from the beginning to the end, exists simultaneously on that reel. As a viewer, you perceive the story unfolding linearly as the frames are projected one after another. But the frames themselves don't come into existence or vanish. They are all equally real, equally present on the physical reel. In the block universe model, the universe is that complete film reel. Your consciousness is like the projector's lamp, illuminating one frame, your present moment after another, creating the experience of time flowing. The past isn't gone. It's just a frame your consciousness has already illuminated. The future isn't yet to come. It's a frame your consciousness hasn't reached yet. Every you at every point in your life, from birth to death, exists simultaneously within this unchanging, four-dimensional block of space-time. What does this profound, static view of time mean for your sense of living, of agency, of causality? If all moments already exist, then are your choices truly creating a future, or are you merely enacting a pre-existing script? Does this diminish the significance of your struggles, your triumphs, your very journey, if the destination is already there? Doesn't this make concepts like regret for the past or hope for the future feel deeply paradoxical, if those moments are already eternally woven into the fabric of existence? This understanding, while initially stripping away the intuitive comfort of a flowing present, can offer a profound sense of timelessness and interconnectedness. If every moment of your life already exists, eternally woven into the cosmic fabric, then your experiences are not fleeting, vanishing acts. They are permanent parts of the universe's grand design. It can bring a radical acceptance of what is, knowing that every joy and every sorrow is an everlasting component of the whole. It transforms your view of life from a temporary passage to an eternal masterpiece, where every brushstroke, every detail, is fixed and timeless. So, the next time you feel the relentless march of time, or dwell on a past event, or eagerly anticipate the future, pause. Consider the possibility that all those moments are already here, existing simultaneously in an eternal cosmic dance. How will this awareness transform your relationship with time itself, and how will you consciously choose to experience your unique, timeless place within the grand, unchanging symphony of existence? You've navigated the unsettling implications of a timeless universe, where every moment, past and future, might already be eternally present. This grand cosmic perspective might make your individual existence feel incredibly small, almost insignificant, within such a vast, unchanging structure. You might then return to the familiar comfort of your own body, that tangible vessel that houses your consciousness, the ultimate proof of your individual, distinct existence. You understand your body as a collection of organs and systems working in concert, controlled by your brain and conscious will. You feel a distinct sense of ownership over your physical self, an implicit understanding of its boundaries. But here's the unsettling truth. Your body isn't just yours in the way you perceive it. You are, in fact, an intricate, symbiotic colony, predominantly made up of organisms that are not human. Your body is a walking, talking ecosystem, teeming with trillions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microorganisms that collectively outnumber your own human cells by a staggering margin, perhaps 10 to 1. Your microbiome, particularly in your gut, is a vast, bustling city of non-human inhabitants, profoundly influencing your health, your mood, your metabolism, and even your thoughts and behaviors, often without your conscious awareness. Imagine yourself as a grand, magnificent spaceship. You, the conscious pilot, believe you're in sole command. But unknown to you, the ship is largely powered and maintained by an immense, diverse crew of miniature beings, each with their own needs and agendas, and their collective actions heavily influence the ship's course, its energy levels, and even the pilot's emotional state. These microscopic residents aren't just hitchhiking, they're essential. They digest your food, synthesize vitamins, train your immune system, and even produce neurotransmitters that affect your brain. The decisions you make about what you eat, for instance, aren't just about nourishing your human cells. They're about feeding an entire internal ecosystem that, in turn, influences your cravings and well-being. Their health is your health, and their distress can become yours. What does this profound interdependence mean for your sense of individuality, your understanding of what constitutes you? If a significant portion of your physical self is composed of non-human entities, and if their well-being directly impacts your own, then are you truly a singular, distinct being? Does this challenge the very boundary between self and other at the most fundamental biological level? Doesn't this make the concept of personal health far more complex and collaborative than simply caring for your human parts? This understanding, while initially challenging your unique self-perception, offers a powerful perspective of profound interconnectedness and humility. You are not just an individual, you are a living, breathing testament to complex biological collaboration. It transforms your view of health from a solo endeavor to a careful act of cultivating a thriving internal garden. You become a steward of a vast and vibrant internal world, whose harmony directly reflects upon your own well-being. This reveals an astonishing complexity within the seemingly simple act of existing, urging us to recognize the intricate dance of life happening within us at every moment. So, the next time you feel a craving, or experience a sudden shift in mood, or simply consider what it means to be alive, pause, recognize the bustling, silent world within you. The trillions of non-human cells working in concert to shape your physical and mental reality. How will this awareness transform your understanding of your own body, and how will you consciously choose to nurture the incredible, symbiotic universe that resides within you? You've journeyed into the astonishing inner cosmos of your own body, finding yourself not as a singular entity, but a harmonious symphony of human and microbial life. This realization might make you feel more deeply connected to the biological world, yet perhaps also a little less distinctly yourself. To ground this shifting sense of identity, you might turn to the tangible interactions of your daily life. You believe your actions are discrete, self-contained events, impacting those directly involved, and then fading into the past. Your words, your choices, your very presence, they seem to affect a limited circle, like ripples in a pond eventually dissipating. But here's the unsettling truth. Your existence, your every action, thought, and even emotional state reverberates far beyond your immediate perception, creating a complex web of influence that subtly and sometimes dramatically shapes the lives of countless others, often without your ever knowing. This is the butterfly effect on a deeply personal, societal, and even generational scale. Every micro-decision, every fleeting mood, every small act of kindness or frustration sends out unseen tendrils of influence, altering the delicate balance of the systems you are a part of. Imagine a vast, intricate tapestry. You are one thread, interwoven with countless others. When you tug on your thread, even slightly, it creates tension and subtle shifts in adjacent threads, which in turn affect those next to them, and so on, across the entire fabric. You might only see the immediate effect on the threads directly touching yours, but the ripple of tension, the subtle distortion, extends far beyond your immediate view. A casual remark you make to a colleague could subtly alter their mood, leading them to be either more patient or more irritable with their family, which then affects their children, who then interact differently with their friends at school, potentially altering a crucial decision years down the line. A moment of frustration you experience while stuck in traffic might cause you to unconsciously clench your jaw, leading to a tension headache later, which impacts your sleep, making you less alert the next day, subtly altering your work performance and affecting the collective output of your team. What does this profound interconnectedness mean for your sense of responsibility, your individuality, or the very notion of personal boundaries? If your every flicker of emotion or thought can send out unseen ripples, are you ever truly alone in your experience? Does this imply a collective unconscious at a far more active and immediate level than previously conceived? Doesn't this make the concept of personal impact, both positive and negative, far more pervasive and weighty than you ever imagined? This understanding, while potentially overwhelming in its implications for responsibility, also offers a powerful and deeply humbling perspective on your existence. You are not an isolated island. You are an integral, influential part of a vast, living network. It transforms your view of daily life from a series of discrete events to a continuous act of weaving, where every thread you lay contributes to the grand design. You gain the power to consciously choose the quality of the thread you add, knowing that even the smallest act of positive intention can create beneficial ripples far beyond your immediate sight. This reveals an astonishing capacity for collective influence, urging us to embrace compassion and mindful living. So, the next time you interact with another person, or even just dwell on an emotion, pause. Consider the unseen threads you are tugging, the subtle shifts you are creating in the vast human tapestry. How will this awareness transform your understanding of your own impact? And how will you consciously choose to weave threads of intention and kindness into the intricate fabric of shared existence? You've delved into the profound interconnectedness of your existence, realizing that your every thought and action sends ripples through an unseen tapestry of influence. This might make you acutely aware of your impact, yet also perhaps a little overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it. To anchor yourself, you might retreat to the certainty of your own body, the fundamental physical reality of your being. You understand yourself as a solid, distinct form, separate from the air you breathe, the ground you walk on, and the objects you touch. Your skin defines your boundary, a clear line between you and Natchu. But here's the unsettling truth. Your perceived solidity is mostly an illusion. At the atomic level, you are almost entirely empty space, the atoms that make up your body and, indeed, everything around you consist of a tiny, dense nucleus surrounded by electrons whirring at incredibly high speeds in vast, empty orbits. If an atom were the size of a football stadium, its nucleus would be a mere pea in the center, and the electrons would be like tiny grains of dust zipping round the outermost seats. The rest, the overwhelming majority of that stadium, would be pure vacuum. Imagine scaling yourself down to the size of an atom. You would look around and see almost nothing. The solid chair you're sitting on, the solid floor beneath your feet. Your solid handle would appear as vast, empty expanses dotted with minuscule, rapidly moving particles. When you touch something, you're not actually making contact with its solid matter in the way you intuitively imagine. Instead, the electrons in your hand are repelling the electrons in the object you're touching, creating an electromagnetic force that feels like solidity. It's like trying to push two powerful magnets together. They resist each other, creating the sensation of an impenetrable barrier. Even though there's no actual physical touch occurring at the atomic level, your body, despite its apparent robustness, is a cloud of vibrating energy fields, interacting with other energy fields. What does this profound emptiness mean for your understanding of substance, of form, of your very physical existence? If you are mostly void, then what defines your boundaries? Does this imply that the world you navigate, with its hard surfaces and tangible objects, is a collective agreement, a shared neurological interpretation of electromagnetic repulsion, rather than a direct experience of true solidity? Doesn't this make the concept of material reality far more ethereal and abstract than you ever conceived? This understanding, while initially disarming to your common sense, offers an extraordinary perspective on the nature of reality. It reveals a universe far more intricate and dynamic than a mere collection of solid objects. You are not a static, impenetrable mass. You are a vibrant, dancing constellation of energy and possibility. It transforms your view of the physical world into an elegant interplay of forces, a constant ballet of repulsion and attraction. This reveals an astonishing lightness to existence, a reminder that even the most seemingly mundane interactions are expressions of fundamental cosmic principles. So, the next time you touch something, or simply feel the ground beneath your feet, pause. Look beyond the illusion of solidity and imagine the vast, buzzing emptiness within and around every atom. How will this awareness transform your understanding of your own physical presence? And how will you consciously engage with the incredible, ethereal dance of energy that constitutes your very being? You've navigated the surprising emptiness that defines your physical form, a cloud of energy rather than solid matter. This might make the tangible world feel less substantial, almost ephemeral. Yet, amidst this atomic void, you still sense a fundamental order, a set of underlying laws that govern everything. You perceive the universe as vast, mostly silent, punctuated by stars and galaxies, but fundamentally empty space. The cosmos appears quiet, indifferent, its processes unfolding in a grand, majestic silence. But here's the unsettling truth. The universe is not silent, and it is not truly empty. It is permeated by a faint, omnipresent cosmic background radiation, the leftover echo or afterglow of the Big Bang itself. This radiation, primarily in the microwave spectrum, is not just a theoretical concept. It's a verifiable, measurable phenomenon that fills every corner of space. It's a literal hum from the beginning of time, a constant whisper of the universe's fiery birth, stretching and cooling over billions of years. Imagine standing in a vast, empty cathedral, believing it to be perfectly still and silent. But then, you realize there's a subtle, constant vibration, an almost imperceptible hum that resonates from the very walls and floor. A lingering resonance from the moment the cathedral was built, amplified by its immense structure. That hum is the cosmic microwave background, CMB. Every single square inch of space, including the space within your own body, is traversed by this ancient light, stretched and cooled into microwaves by the expansion of the universe. It's the oldest light we can detect, a direct snapshot of the universe when it was just a few 100,000 years old, before stars and galaxies had even formed. It tells us about the universe's temperature, its composition, and its earliest structures. It's an overwhelming, tangible reminder that everything you see and touch emerged from an incredibly hot, dense state. What does this pervasive, ancient hum mean for your understanding of the universe's origins, its age, or even your place within it? If the universe is constantly bathed in the afterglow of its birth, does that mean the past is never truly gone, but forever woven into the present? Does this imply that the empty space you perceive is actually brimming with fundamental information, a constant reverberation of creation? Doesn't this make the notion of a truly dark or silent void an impossibility, replaced by a universe continuously humming with its own history? This understanding, while initially challenging your perception of cosmic emptiness, offers a profound sense of connection to the very origins of existence. You are not merely a distant observer of the Big Bang. You are literally bathed in its residual energy, a living part of its ongoing expansion. It transforms your view of space from a passive void to an active, living canvas, vibrating with the echoes of primordial creation. This reveals an astonishing intimacy between you and the furthest reaches of time, urging us to feel the profound history woven into the fabric of everything. So, the next time you gaze into what appears to be empty space, or even just sit quietly in a room, pause. Feel the subtle, ancient presence of the universe's birth, the silent hum that permeates everything. How will this awareness transform your understanding of silence and emptiness? And how will you consciously engage with the incredible, ongoing resonance of the cosmos within and around you? You've absorbed the mind-bending reality of an atomically empty body existing within a universe that constantly hums with the echoes of its birth. This continuous stream of revelations might leave you feeling a little disoriented, as if the ground beneath your feet is no longer as solid as it once seemed. You rely on the Earth's stability, its immovable presence, a dependable foundation for your life. You walk, you build, you exist on this seemingly unwavering planet, convinced of its unyielding, fixed nature. But here's the unsettling truth. The very ground you stand on is not a static, impenetrable mass, but a constantly shifting, dynamic entity, a living, breathing geological engine in perpetual motion. Plate tectonics, the theory that explains phenomena from earthquakes to volcanoes to the formation of continents, reveals that Earth's outer shell is broken into gigantic, irregularly shaped plates that are continuously, albeit slowly, grinding past each other, pulling apart, or colliding. This isn't just a historical event, it's happening right now beneath your feet. Every single second of every day. Imagine you're standing on a massive, slow-moving conveyor belt made of multiple, interlocking segments. Each segment is creeping along at its own pace, sometimes bumping into another, sometimes pulling away, sometimes diving beneath. You, standing on one segment, perceive it as stationary because your frame of reference is moving with it. But from a cosmic perspective, you're on a perpetually drifting raft. Continents drift at roughly the same speed your fingernails grow. A seemingly imperceptible movement, but one that has shaped mountains, opened oceans, and caused immense geological upheaval over millions of years. The continents you see on a map today are entirely different configurations from those of the distant past, and they will continue to morph into unrecognizable shapes in the far future. Even the most stable parts of the Earth are under immense pressure, subtly flexing and adjusting. What does this incessant, slow-motion ballet of continents mean for your sense of permanence, for the stability of your environment, or for the very notion of fixed geography? If the land beneath you is constantly moving, pulling apart, and colliding, how can you truly speak of unchanging landscapes? Does this imply that every mountain range is merely a transient wrinkle in Earth's crust, destined to be eroded and reshaped? Doesn't this make the concept of firm ground a powerful, but ultimately temporary, illusion, a snapshot of an ongoing, monumental geological process? This understanding, while initially undermining your sense of physical stability, offers a profound appreciation for the dynamic, living nature of our planet. You are not simply dwelling on a fixed sphere. You are riding a colossal, slow-motion, geological dance, an active participant in Earth's continuous transformation. It transforms your view of landscapes from static backdrops to dynamic, evolving features constantly being sculpted by immense, unseen forces. This reveals an astonishing power and resilience in the Earth's processes, urging us to recognize the deep, ancient rhythms that govern our planetary home. So, the next time you walk on what feels like solid ground or gaze at an ancient mountain, pause. Consider the slow, relentless grind of tectonic plates, the imperceptible dance that has shaped and continues to reshape our world. How will this awareness transform your understanding of permanence and stability? And how will you consciously engage with the incredible, ongoing geological symphony beneath your very feet? You've explored the constant geological churn beneath your feet, a reminder that even the most seemingly stable aspects of our world are in perpetual, albeit slow, motion. This might lead you to seek comfort in the predictability of daily life, the comforting rhythm of cause and effect. You make plans, set goals, and anticipate outcomes, believing that your present actions directly and predictably lead to future results. You understand the future as something yet to be written, shaped by your choices and the unfolding of logical events. This linear causality feels like a fundamental truth, a cornerstone of your ability to navigate the world. But here's the unsettling truth. The future is not just a blank canvas awaiting your brushstrokes, nor is it merely a direct, predictable consequence of the present. At the quantum level, the future isn't determined in the way you intuitively understand. Instead, it exists as a cloud of probabilities, a superposition of all possible outcomes until an observation or interaction collapses them into a single reality. This means that the path your future takes isn't a fixed line. It's a dynamic, ever-branching set of possibilities influenced by the subtle, unpredictable dance of subatomic particles. Imagine trying to predict the exact path of a single snowflake falling in a blizzard. You know the general direction, but every tiny gust of wind, every subtle air current, every infinitesimal interaction with another snowflake slightly alters its trajectory. Now, magnify that unpredictability to the fundamental level of reality. Quantum mechanics tells us that particles don't have a definite position or momentum until they are measured. Before measurement, they exist in a superposition of all possible states simultaneously. This inherent indeterminacy at the smallest scales means that the future, built upon these foundational quantum interactions, carries a deep, inherent unpredictability. A tiny quantum fluctuation in your brain, for instance, could theoretically nudge a chain of thoughts or decisions in an entirely different direction, subtly altering your chosen path in ways you could never have anticipated. Your future isn't just unknown, it's fundamentally undetermined until it arrives. What does this inherent probabilistic nature of the future mean for your sense of planning, your belief in cause and effect, or your feeling of control over your destiny? If the universe is fundamentally non-deterministic at its core, then how much agency do your choices truly have in shaping a fixed outcome? Does this imply that the future you anticipate is just one of an infinite number of potential futures, and that the one you experience is ultimately chosen by the universe's inherent randomness or through the act of observation itself? Doesn't this make the very act of knowing what will happen next a profound and potentially misguided assumption? This understanding, while initially disarming to your desire for certainty, offers a profound sense of potential and freedom. If the future is not rigidly predetermined, then every moment holds genuine new possibilities. It liberates you from the burden of absolute predictability and opens you to the astonishing array of paths that could unfold. You are not just following a script. You are continuously participating in the unfolding of a universe where genuine novelty and unpredictable outcomes are inherent. This reveals an astonishing dynamism to existence, urging us to embrace uncertainty and to live with a deeper appreciation for the ongoing creation of reality. So, the next time you make a plan, or worry about what's to come, or simply try to predict the next moment, pause. Consider the unseen cloud of possibilities, the quantum dance that is continuously shaping the future. How will this awareness transform your relationship with predictability and control? And how will you consciously engage with the incredible, ever-unfolding mystery of the unknown future? You've navigated the unsettling indeterminacy of the future, recognizing that predictability is often a comforting illusion rather than a fundamental truth of the universe. This journey through shifting realities might leave you feeling a little adrift, searching for something truly unique, something that defines you beyond all these shared, universal phenomena. You instinctively believe in your own distinct individuality, the specific combination of traits, experiences, and consciousness that makes you fundamentally different from every other person on Earth. You are a unique fingerprint in the vast tapestry of humanity, an original, singular entity. But here's the unsettling truth: your perceived uniqueness, your very sense of distinct individuality, is far more deeply interconnected with, and indeed dependent upon, the vast collective of humanity than you realize. Your thoughts, your language, your beliefs, your values, the very raw materials of yourself, are not solely self-generated. They are largely inherited, learned, and continuously shaped by the collective consciousness, history, and culture of the human species. You are, in a profound sense, an intricate, unique expression of shared humanity, rather than an isolated, entirely self-contained individual. Imagine a single word on a page. It appears distinct, separate, unique. Yet, that word only gains meaning because of the vast, shared linguistic system from which it emerged. It's built from common letters, adheres to shared grammatical rules, and communicates ideas that have been shaped by countless interactions over millennia. You are like that word. Your language, the very framework of your thought, was given to you. Your understanding of right and wrong, beauty and ugliness, success and failure, are profoundly influenced by the societal norms, historical narratives, and cultural traditions into which you were born. Even your most original idea likely draws upon a vast unconscious well of collective human knowledge and experience, a creative synthesis of countless prior thoughts. You are a unique iteration of the human story, not a wholly separate narrative. What does this profound interdependence mean for your cherished sense of individuality, your creativity, or your claim to original thought? If yourself is so deeply interwoven with the collective, how much of your unique perspective is truly yours, and how much is a reflection of the myriad influences that shaped you? Does this diminish your sense of personal achievement, if every breakthrough stands on the shoulders of countless others? Doesn't this make the concept of an isolated genius, or even a truly independent mind, an incredibly romanticized, yet ultimately inaccurate notion? This understanding, while potentially challenging to your ego's desire for absolute originality, offers a profound sense of connection and collaborative power. You are not alone in your journey. You are a vibrant, living library of human experience, a unique conduit through which the collective consciousness continues to evolve and express itself. It transforms your view of creation from a solitary act to a continuous conversation with all of humanity, past, present, and future. You gain the power to consciously draw upon this vast wellspring of shared knowledge and to contribute your unique synthesis back to the collective, enriching the tapestry for all. This reveals an astonishing interconnectedness in the very act of being human, urging us to embrace humility, collaboration, and the continuous flow of shared wisdom. So, the next time you have an original thought, or feel a surge of unique inspiration, or simply reflect on what makes you, pause, consider the countless voices, experiences, and traditions that have subtly whispered into your being, shaping the incredible, unique expression that you are. How will this awareness transform your understanding of your own individuality, and how will you consciously engage with the boundless, shared wellspring of human consciousness? You've traversed the intricate landscape of a unique self, understanding how deeply your individuality is woven into the vast tapestry of collective humanity. This might bring a new sense of belonging, a profound appreciation for your interconnectedness. Yet, as you reflect on these unsettling truths, there remains one final, fundamental assumption you likely hold, that when you look at something, you are seeing it entirely, perceiving all of its objective properties as they exist in the external world. You trust your sight implicitly, believing it offers a complete and accurate window into reality, a final, unadulterated truth. But here's the unsettling truth. What you see is not a direct, complete representation of the external world, but a highly selective and often interpretive construction by your brain based on what it deems important or relevant. Your eyes capture only a tiny fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum, filtering out vast swaths of information, and even within that visible light, your brain actively ignores, discards, and even invents details, prioritizing coherence and meaning over absolute fidelity. You are constantly blind to an enormous amount of data, even in plain sight. Imagine you're walking through a dense forest, looking for a specific type of rare bird. Your eyes are open, taking in everything, but your brain is actively filtering out the overwhelming noise of leaves, branches, and shadows, specifically searching for patterns that match your expectation of the bird. You literally don't see the irrelevant details because your brain is dedicating its resources to what it anticipates. This is called inattentional blindness, the astonishing phenomenon where you can completely miss obvious things right in front of you if your attention is focused elsewhere. Think of studies where people fail to see a gorilla walking through a basketball game because they're counting passes. The visual information hits your retina, but your brain simply chooses not to process it into conscious perception. Furthermore, your brain fills in your blind spot where the optic nerve leaves the eye, meaning no photoreceptors exist with invented visual information, seamlessly creating an image that isn't truly there. It actively crafts your visual experience. What does this pervasive selectivity and interpretive nature of sight mean for your understanding of objectivity, of seeing is believing, or the very concept of verifiable truth? If your eyes are inherently limited, and your brain is a relentless editor and fabricator of what you perceive, then how much of what you see is truly out there, and how much is an internal projection tailored to your expectations and attention? Does this imply that two people can look at the exact same scene and genuinely see different realities? Doesn't this make the notion of a universally shared, objective visual experience far more complex and fundamentally subjective than you ever imagined? This understanding while initially challenging your trust in your most dominant sense, offers a profound sense of liberation and agency. You are not a passive recipient of visual information. You are an active, creative participant in the construction of your visual reality. It transforms your view of sight from a simple recording device to a powerful tool for interpretation and meaning-making. You gain the ability to consciously direct your attention, to broaden your focus, and to challenge your own assumptions, thereby seeing new details and interpretations that were previously invisible to your conditioned gaze. This reveals an astonishing capacity for expanding your own perception, for finding new richness and depth in the seemingly familiar, and for consciously choosing how you illuminate the world around you. So, as you conclude this journey through unsettling truths, and as you open your eyes to the world around you, pause, look not just with your physical eyes, but with the profound awareness of your brain's incredible, creative hand in shaping what you perceive. Recognize that every moment you see is a unique, personal masterpiece, painted by your own consciousness. How will this final awareness transform your daily experience? And how will you consciously choose to see the unseen world within your very own gaze?